So, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Stay right here to discover the answer to the question that has haunted mankind for centuries. Hello my weasels and welcome to Let's Ask the Weasel. So I'm sure that you too have at some point in your life been standing a rainy night with tears running down your cheeks, fallen to your knees and screamed at the sky to tell you how much wood a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Really? No one? Well, maybe that's just me. That's basically my usual Saturday night. But luckily I will no longer have to do that, as my team of enthusiastic scientists have finally discovered the answer. Or rather, they found out that somebody else had discovered the answer in 1995. That's a lot of Saturday's nights wasted on my account. But basically, what they found out was that a woodchuck could theoretically be able to chuck 361 cubic centimeters of wood per day. You can go see the science at the Annals of Improbable Research from 1995. It's already technical, I don't want to get into right now. Because what we need to find out is what to answer people when they ask us how much wood a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Because I'm sure we all in our early childhood memorized the typical back and forth banter that goes, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? A woodchuck could chuck no amount of wood since a woodchuck can chuck wood. But if a woodchuck could chuck and would chuck some amount of wood, what amount of wood would a woodchuck chuck? Even if a woodchuck could chuck wood, and even if a woodchuck would chuck wood, should a woodchuck chuck wood? A woodchuck should chuck wood if a woodchuck could chuck wood, as long as a woodchuck would chuck wood. But that's not nearly good enough for a weasel. No, sir. That's way too vague now that we know the scientific answer to the question. So the next time someone asks you how much wood a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood, you simply have to answer, what would a man want with the information about the woodchuck's ability to chuck wood? Wouldn't it be wiser to venture into the vast world with a different question? But when you ask, you want to know, and know is what I'll wager you'll do. The whim you have will make you wise when followed well, so weigh the ups and downs and chuck the truth tonight. This weird conundrum will nevermore haunt your waking mind. To test the chuck ability of the wooded chuck, simply wager all your chunks of wood in a wood chucking challenge. But to chuck truer than what a woodchuck can chuck, you must chuck more than 361 cubic centimeters of wood in a day, because that is truly the amount of how much wood a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood, as long as to chuck means to chew, as no chuck has ever been witness to thrust or shove or throw. Great, so now that we have that out of the way, we can move on to the next question. Just saw an article about a professor who has been studying Loch Ness for 40 years. Does it exist? If not, why did they make up the story? And it is most definitely true. It does exist, there is no doubt about it, and there is no great conspiracy here where someone made it up. It's actually really easy to prove. All you have to do is go to Google Maps and type Loch Ness, and voila, there you can clearly see Loch Ness does in fact exist. And if that isn't good enough for you, there are thousands of travel agents all around the world who arranges trips directly to Loch Ness each and every year. Something to do with some nonsense about a giant monster living in the lake or something, that's beside the point. But the truth of the matter is that Loch Ness is a freshwater lake located right about in the middle of Scotland, and it does in fact exist. Thank you for watching Let's Ask the Weasel. I hope you all learned something. If you did learn something, please share this video with all your friends so that they might learn something too. Or as an alternative, you can hit the like button under this video, and don't forget to click subscribe so that you can be the first among your friends each week to impress all around you with your ever-increasing knowledge. And of course, the comment section is open for all the questions that keep you up at night. Just put it in a comment and I will try to work it into next week's video. We will see each other again next Sunday, and in the meantime, remember, if you don't know the answer, ask the Weasel.